And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
I don't know.
That's right. It's like Groundhog Day. It's happening again because we are live again. Once again, the Weighing In podcast coming in live, and my man Josh Thompson is ready to explode, ready to say all kinds of wacky things that I'm being told I should set him straight.
Yeah,
but
right.
No. I let him come up with his craziness.
Yeah.
And I just sit here and go, oh my God. What's happening, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just got done with a night game for my daughter in soccer, which is amazing because
scored 2 goals.
2 goals.
She told me.
Yeah, well, you know
That's
what it was,
awesome.
right? It wasn't because I was there. What she did it because her brother said if you don't score 3 goals, you're gonna get tickled when you get home. And so she got done scoring 2, and she comes over. She's like, I need one more. I'm like, why do you need more? She was like, because I don't want Kellen to tickle me. And so that was it. I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
Everything's about motivation, mister.
Yeah. Everyone
What
finds their own
motivates you.
motivation. Exactly. Hey man, we have a great show. We have a great show today to talk about a lot of things.
There's
We got
a lot of things.
Topuria talk with the Islam talk. You know, and obviously we're gonna try to put out some fires that I guess apparently I ignited from
Dude,
the
you are like a fire starter. You're getting me in trouble for me doing nothing.
I am. I love it. I love this stuff,
great.
man. This is so great. I love it. Just keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Okay. No photos though. No photos. Okay. Like I pretend like we're in church. No photos. Hey, this show is brought to you by BetUS. I want to also remind you guys, we also offer subscriptions. So you guys can subscribe to our channel as well as be a member here. And $4.99 to be a member, and that will get you in part of our giveaways for the monthly giveaway, which we just gave out to Alejandro. Alejandro, there he is. I see him. Hi, what's up, Alejandro? I see you there, buddy. And I don't know if you received your gift yet, but your package. That came out wrong.
Boy,
But anyway.
I want you to know everyone's going to start talking about different things about you.
Absolutely. Hey, but why they do that? Make sure you guys drink LMNT. Love this product, man. One of the best in the game, if not the best. I mean, look, I love it. It's comes in cans as well as a mixed packet. You guys can carry with you in the car with a bottle of water. You mix it up, and right before your sports or athletics, or if you're just feeling dehydrated, it's awesome, man. I love this product. It's a great product. 1,000 milligrams of sodium. 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. We all need the potassium, magnesium, and we all, of course, need to stay salty. John, I also want to talk about we continue our partnership with OnlyFans. So make sure you guys head over there and subscribe to us over there. You know what? Let's go ahead and just jump right into all the trash talk. But do we want to go trash talk first? You want to go about the fight card?
No, let's go trash talk. Come on, we got to go. That's
He's got this thing queued up.
Dave's trying.
He's really
Podcast
trying.
Dave is trying to be in charge. I love that about him, and we must destroy it.
I'm just wondering where you guys want to start this thing because I've got a story. I've got a couple of stories, and then I'm going to shape for you, but then I'm going to let you guys take the reins on it.
Okay.
And then
we do a fight. Shape it. We'll be shapeshifters.
Perfect. There you go. Then we have a fight night card on Saturday, November 2nd, and then I do want to get your thoughts probably towards the end on the PFL pay-per-view buy numbers and just kind of the state of things over there. I'd say the one in the thumbnail, which is probably most interesting, I would say, is the potential of Topuria versus Islam. Alexander Volkanovski was asked on Ariel's show what he thinks about Topuria's desire to go up and fight Makhachev and submit him. And Alex was kind of like, I don't really see the submission there, but I do think the potential there is there for a knockout. So I wanted to get your thoughts on going up. Does size-wise, does that make sense to you guys? And then the potential of a win over Islam, or is it, is there work to be done down here at 45?
I've always said I want to see someone clear out their division before they go after that second one, but that is kind of gone the way of the way of the Edsel is. It's just not the way things happen. Ever since Conor McGregor got that second belt, that is the thing that makes you the guy that can stand up and pound your chest and say, look at me. So I look at it and I go, I understand it, but I would really like to see Topuria get rid of certain people in his division. I think there's a couple of fights there. I think the Aljamain Sterling fight is actually a neat fight as far as you look at a former champion in Aljamain taking on the current champion, obviously in a different weight class. With the skill set that Aljamain has, he's going to have a difficult time on the feet with Topuria, but he is very good on the ground. So is Topuria. So I think it's an interesting fight. There's a couple there that I'd like to see him go for. When you look at the Islam Makhachev, I understand why Topuria wants it, and I don't doubt the fact that he could win that fight. I'm not saying he's going to, but he could win it. And if he wins it, it would not be by a submission. It would definitely be by a knockout. You know, he's not going to submit Islam Makhachev. That's just not in the cards unless he hit Islam with a huge shot that hurt Islam and then jumped on his back and got a choke. It's possible because you're not defending correctly. Possible. But it would all have to be set up by his stand-up, by his punching power. And he's proven he's got big time power. He is the man right now. I understand why people want to see that fight. I would love to see it, but I would also like to see the other ones. So I would like to see him fight in the featherweight, get rid of those, and then take on Islam. Maybe as Islam's thinking about leaving, make that fight.
I would agree with you 100%. There's no way he submits outside of what you said. If he drops him, knocks him, he
hurts him
defending properly. It gets snapped on real quick. It gets slapped on real quick, and the submission's hard to defend, and nothing you can do. Outside of that, look, let's go ahead and break this down. He's going to fight the Volkanovski fight probably next, probably in Spain. They've been talking about that. Dana White said they plan on going to Spain. That makes sense. Have Volk fight him there for his return fight. I don't know if that's going to go any better than the first fight. Volk coming off the 2 knockouts, and then getting the title shot. But if someone deserves it, Volkanovski deserves it.
He does.
He does.
I agree.
And I'm going to head on down. Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is waiting. He's the guy. Now, I'm not saying he can beat him. He does pose some threats. I think that he's probably a little bit better on the ground than Topuria, but his wrestling's not as good as Topuria's. So how do you kind of interlock those two? How can you be really good at jiu-jitsu when you can't get the fight to the ground? You'll have a hard time getting the fight to the ground. Now on the feet, Diego is good too, but not to the caliber of.
He's got power.
Topuria.
He's got power, but the way he delivers that power is not as technically proficient as the way Topuria.
No, Topuria fights very well in a phone booth, like a Mike Tyson style.
Dude, he steps in that phone booth, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
it's very good in tight.
It's hard to deal with that, and when someone is short in stature, you feel like you're punching over their head. Their punches come over the top, they come underneath. Very good. He does a great job of capitalizing on his stature. His stature being like short. His height is not.
But he's really not that short. I mean, he was short to Max, but a lot of featherweights are short to Max.
He's gonna be short to Diego Lopez.
Yeah,
Diego Lopez was bigger than the last guy he just fought, Brian Ortega. He was taller than him, the same height. So I was surprised. I was expecting Brian to be the bigger guy. Then I saw them face off at the weigh-ins. I was like, oh, unless someone wasn't wearing shoes.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. I'm going to move on down here to Evloev, I think is what someone was getting mad at us for saying.
Evloev
or Evloev. I think it's Evloev. Anyways, he's undefeated, 15-0, I believe. Somewhere in there. Tough fighter.
That's the type of matchup you go, look, what is Evloev going to want to do? Take him down.
Yeah.
He has to. Okay. We know that Topuria is good on the ground, but he has, if you're looking at Evloev and everybody he's fought guys that are very good on the ground. He's done very well with them there. His wrestling is fantastic and he's got a motor. That's the kind of guy that, it may not be the exciting fight that some people want to see because he's going to be going for takedowns, but it's the kind of fight that Topuria is setting him up for strikes and to knock him out. I look at it and go, that could be a great fight. And that's a guy that deserves it. This is what I mean about clearing out that featherweight division. He hasn't fought him. I'd like to see it.
Okay, I'm going to go to Arnold Allen. Now, I know Arnold's got to get a win. I get it. And let's go right after Arnold Allen would be Aljamain Sterling, former champion.
Yeah.
And poses a threat. He's got the wrestling to get the fight, get the fight to the ground with the wrestling he has, as well as the submission game is probably the best in the division, I believe.
Look, he's a backpack. He is so good at taking the back and being able to stay there. Aljamain has a certain skill set that can give anybody problems if he can get the fight to the ground. The real question is going to be, can he get that fight to the ground and be in the position to take his back? I don't know.
Here's the thing, though, John. I look at with Ilia Topuria. He's not a super fast fighter, and he has to get close to you to hit you because even though he has his arm reach is good, but like I said, he's shorter. So Aljo has a good chance of closing that distance, a lot more so than he did against O'Malley and a Max Holloway. They just use their lateral movement. They use it very well. Topuria is going to walk forward, and he's going to try to land the big shots. Now, I'm not saying that he can't knock Aljo out, because we've seen that he just knocked out Max, who we had thought up until this moment couldn't be knocked out.
There's a graph that the UFC does. I don't know if you know about this, but it's a graph that shows, minutes fought and, the amount of strikes that you throw per round, per minute, what's landed, what's missed. And if you look at that, and they put them all together, if you take that and you blob it together, it's this giant black blob of, just dots from the people and everything. And then you look and it starts to separate out, and there's one way out front. And that one is Max Holloway, the guy who hit people and didn't get hit. And Ilia Topuria proved that, hey, all it takes is putting it on the target. You can knock anybody out. No one's chin is punch proof. And that was after me saying the whole thing was like, hey, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit in the wind, and you don't knock out Max Holloway. Well, obviously you can spit in the wind. If you're Ilia Topuria, you can tug on Superman's cape. That's what we want to see, though. That's awesome. He went out there and did what no one has been able to do. I give him nothing but props. But you take a look at, it's always that thing. The one thing that I give Topuria when it comes to like Aljamain, Topuria doesn't overextend. He's very precise, and he's very composed when he throws, that he doesn't overextend, so he doesn't give a lot of opportunities for that easy takedown, that ability to get into his body.
I would agree, man. I look, those guys, I think, are all going to be fighting from a deficit, because Aljo is kind of a one-dimensional fighter. I said this about the Chimaev people when people are like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, the guys that he's going to be fighting.
Why do you not like Chimaev? Why? Everyone's asking me why.
We'll talk about that in a sec. Okay? I'm going to go hard in the paint on all these casuals. Okay. But
why doesn't Josh like Khamzat?
I like Khamzat. I like him. Look, it just comes down to I made money off Khamzat, so we're good, man. Like,
there you go, man.
I know fighting. Anyways, but look, I think to talk about the Islam fight, for sure he could potentially knock him out. Anyone can get caught in this business.
No one's punch proof.
No, and the power he possesses, it'll probably translate, maybe even more if he goes up to 55. Now, those guys generally have a
little better chin.
A little better chin.
Ability to take a bigger shot.
Chin. They're just able to take a little bit bigger shot. Yeah, it's more weight.
More weight, you're allowed. More weight creates you the ability to take more damage. A little bit bigger shot. Just happens. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at guys like Moicano, right? He went up in weight. I felt like his chin got better. Okay, but then you also look at guys like DC. He went up from 205 to heavyweight. He got power. I saw it in the gym, man. He was knocking guys out in training with 16-ounce gloves on. I'm like, and these guys were huge, big, and they could take shots. We'd seen him take shots from DC before when they were training at 205. So the power sometimes translates. It goes up, and the chin will sometimes go up with it too if you're not sucking yourself down. So I do think that's a tough fight for Islam. I think Islam wins. And that's not a homer thing. What I think is you're going to see a little bit of repeat of what everyone told me was going to absolutely happen with Charles Oliveira. Oh, he's going to drop him and he's going to finish him with a guillotine. Nah, I think it's going to be the other way around. I think what's going to happen is Islam's going to be able to close that distance, because he's going to have to get close enough to hit Islam. Islam's 6 foot, 155 pounds. He's going to grab a hold of him. He's going to be able to foot sweep him, take him down. When he does get down, he ain't getting up. Now he's got to finish him. He's got to get him finished, I think, in the first round, or he's got to rinse, wash, repeat, and do this in the second round. But once that fight hits the ground, I think that Topuria is good on the ground. I'm not knocking him. I've just always continued to say that you guys haven't even seen how good Islam is on the ground yet. You got it, like he's tremendous. He's so good. I mean, but he's a champ, so I don't have to say anymore. But
Exactly.
it's one of those fights where it's one of those fights that is it does interest me.
Yeah,
It does. It's it does. But I'm also the same guy. Look, you just won the title. You beat Max. I get it. You beat Volk. You're gonna probably beat Volk again. But you've got one or two guys in there. We'll see how it all settles. I don't want to talk about really any further probably than and I even really don't want to talk about some of the other guys that are in there. Pull up the rankings again for me there, please, Dave.
Got them right here.
Okay. But I'm looking. I can't see them. They're too small. Yeah. But here I got them right here. So I got okay. So
you got Volkanovski and Max Holloway are one and
they're
two.
done. So you have Lopez.
Yeah, you got Lopez at
Lopez,
3.
Yair
Rodriguez, number 4.
Yeah.
That's not a good matchup.
No. But I look at Lopez and Evloev. Those two guys, and then I like Arnold Allen.
Brian's out. You can't even put Brian in there.
Brian's out. Brian's going to 55 anyways, from what I understand.
Exactly.
And then I think the Aljamain Sterling fight. Those are 3 more guys that he could fight in his weight class, make a ton of money, and then make his jump. I don't know if Islam's going to be at 155 for 3 more fights. 3 more fights is another year and a half. So, I mean, depending on how fast he wants to fight Topuria. But I don't know if Islam's going to be there for another 3 fights or another year and a half or 2 years.
I don't know.
So, but regardless, that is a fight that does interest me. I think it's a fun fight. You're going to see, the power of him. I don't know. I don't see the scrambling ability that I did out of Volkanovski and Topuria. The wrestling is there. He's a strong wrestler. Power is there. Fights really well in a phone booth.
Topuria is already talking about moving up to Bilal. I was like,
let's calm down.
But when you're Topuria, right, and you took out Volk the way you did, you took out Max the way you did, right, 2 of the greatest in the division, right, at least in the last however many years, and we're also in that age of like everybody's trying to do the next exciting thing, right? Just beating the next guy in line is not enough anymore, and in the MMA world, and so
that's why he's putting it out there.
Right. Yeah. So when you guys are going through this list and saying, oh, Diego Lopez is kind of earning it, Yair is like kind of there, or whatever, is it the right move to do that, or is it
there's not one thing wrong with anything he's doing. This is almost like, one of those things where, you have a team and you have the coach. The coach has to control the players. Okay. The players are going to say, hey, let's run this, let's run that, let's do this. And they get all excited about the fancy stuff and they want to do the cool stuff. And the coach has got to be the one saying, hey, no, we're going to run. We're going to run a 24 blast. We're going to run the ball. We're not going to do all this fancy stuff. The promoter, being the UFC, has got to control, because you have all these people in these divisions, like, the Diego Lopez who's waiting there, or the Aljamain Sterling who's coming up in the rankings. And you have to at least keep them in a position where they know they're going to get a shot. If they're winning, they're going to get a shot at that title. Well, when that title guy is going to another division, then it starts to empty things. Then they start talking about interim titles and all these things, and it just messes everything up. So let them go through those guys. At least go through 2 of those guys. Show that, I'm the man here, and then go up.
John, for no other reason. These guys are guys that you are in their weight class. You've been dominating you've just dominated 2 of the best guys that have ever graced that weight class.
I agree.
If I was to say, hey, make your easy money, and I'm not saying these guys are easy fights.
Yeah.
They're not easy fights, but I'm saying like they're not going to get easier going up.
Not in weight, no.
So why not just stay where you're at and cash out as much as you possibly can on these type fights, guys that you're comfortable fighting. You've been training your whole life to fight at this weight class. Let's go ahead and just fight these guys while you're there. Once you clear out, like I agree with you, probably 2. I would say Diego, who's been patiently, kind of being propped up. Evloev, who the 2 of them had a great fight. And then I would maybe linger with Sterling, depending on where they match him up next and see where he's at in that whole, and how he looks, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like he goes out and subs somebody short quickly, boom. I'm like, hell, that's marketability for me. I can beat that guy. Let me slip that one up real quick. Let me cash that check real quick. and then I'll run off to 155 and try and get a big check, a huge check. So, and who knows who will be there? Maybe that weight class will be a little bit more vacant. Who knows? Maybe Islam will still be there going, you know what? Sure, I'll fight the little guy again.
Yeah.
You never know. But it does make for a great conversation. I just say for any other reason, you're at that weight, don't risk it now going up, putting the weight on, because if you don't have success there, the easier the fights. You saw what happened to Volk. You end up with a bad knockout or a bad performance. Your fight confidence is not what it was when you were undefeated and just not mowing over guys in your weight class. Keep that confidence going in your weight class until you're done clearing that division out. Collect those checks. This is nothing's going to change. You're not trying to bulk up. You're not trying to put the weight on. You're not trying to focus on that and then another weight class and then more pressure on yourself. Collect those checks, man. Make all that damn money, and then after you do that, then let's go ahead and let's make double, maybe even triple the money. Let's do that. Yeah. So I like that idea, but like I said, and it also comes down to the UFC. You were bringing that up. I thought you were trying to say like, oh, the coaches have to control Topuria, and at the very end you put the UFC as the coach, and I was like, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, the coaches work for the fighter.
if I'm his coach, whatever he wants to do, I'm happy with. But this is the thing to think about. Topuria is 27 years of age.
Jeez, man, monster.
27, exactly.
Monster.
This kid is a monster at 27. He's very composed in everything he does. He reminds me of Lionel Messi, and the fact that he kind of has that little bit of a look, but he's got the same confidence and composure of Messi in the way he does things. And a lot of people are trying to say he's trying to compare himself to Conor McGregor. I don't think he is.
No, not at all.
I think he wants to step outside of what Conor McGregor and walk his own path. That's what he's trying to do. But it's the UFC's responsibility to kind of hold him back and have him fight some of those people in the 145-pound division.
If people that say that, he kind of reminds me of Conor McGregor. Have you never been around a Spaniard? Have you never been around somebody that like the way they carry themselves? An Italian also was very similar.
Proud.
Yeah, they carry themselves with a lot of pride, man. And it shows. It shows. Yeah. And if I was to take like a movie and think like not a movie, but I'm saying like a movie character, he would represent a good Spaniard like gangster. That's exactly who I'd imagine him being, that guy in a movie. Yeah. He'd play that guy perfectly. Yeah. So hey, but I tip my hat to him, man. Like I was not fully I wasn't fully sold on his abilities. It's just like I had said before in the past, the guys that he had fought, some of them were one-dimensional. You can see that he had the skill. That wasn't the problem. But I was like, okay, Max is the true test. Max to me, and I didn't want to take anything away from him over the Volk thing either. But it really came down to the Volk situation coming off the knockout loss. And I was like, man, he's just not the same guy. Like I understand that feeling of like, once you get knocked out, you need to take more time off. You can't be in there sparring and training. Like people just think like, oh, he got knocked out, 6 months ago. Yeah, but he spent 3 months training for the fight, which means he got hit a lot in training.
It's funny. I was just watching Roy Jones Jr. was doing an interview, and he was talking about fighters not understanding that it's not the fights themselves that screw you up so bad as far as, problems with, head trauma. He goes, the fights are one thing, and they can if you get knocked out. He goes, but it's the training. Yeah. He goes, I will tell you, he says, and I don't know if you remember him, Jimmy Young was like the second coming of Muhammad Ali at one point, and he was coming up when, George Foreman and when Ali was still out there, but he was just this great Philadelphia boxer and a boxer. But his sparring partner was Joe Frazier, and Joe Frazier wrecked him in sparring. Sparring took what, all the talent that Jimmy Young had, and it kind of shortened it based upon all that sparring with Joe Frazier, because guys threw, haymakers and bombs the whole time, and you're taking those shots. Yeah, it's 16-ounce gloves. It's with headgear. Your head's bigger. He's hitting you with shots that he might skim by, and so all that stuff that you're doing in training. And when Volkanovski gets hurt, then he goes right back into training. That's what he said he did at times. Yeah. You're looking, you're going, that's not good for you. You need time off. But we'll see. We'll see what he does.
Yep. No, I agree. Hey, guys, before we move on, your best betting odds are at BetUS. So make sure you guys check it out. Use YouTube 150 for your best betting odds. Check it out. That'll tell them that we sent you. YouTube 150 for BetUS. And also, we've continued our partnership with OnlyFans. Make sure you guys subscribe to us over there. It is free. I've been posting up a couple pictures over there and some other stuff, some other extra content on that platform. And hopefully you guys join us over there. And of course, my favorite, man, Drink Element, ladies and gentlemen. Drink Element and stay salty. Bam, bam, bam.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right. Boom, boom,
Like
boom.
that.
Bang, bang,
Very
bang.
quick. Bang,
Let's,
bang, bang, bang.
Let's a couple of super chats skim through real quick before we move on. Hamish asks, Josh, get Trevor Prangley on the pod.
Absolutely, man. I would love to. This guy, man, he's not working his full-time job anymore. He quit that job, and now he's just strictly a gym owner because his gym is doing so damn well.
So obviously we're talking about brain damage right there.
He loves it, man. His
awesome.
gym is he's got good kids. I shouldn't call them kids. They're probably in their mid-30s, almost 40 now. He's got a good group of guys that are running the gym, good group of friends that are all acquainted. They all came up under him, and absolutely just a great group of people that are out of there. He's got a great following, got a huge women's program. Fantastic. I mean, and they're beasts too. They went down to Master Worlds and they all cleaned it up. They're just awesome. Collecting first place medals, man. So yeah, they own a Trevor Prangley's AKA up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a fantastic place. They do CrossFit, they do bag classes, they do obviously jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, they do all sorts of stuff, man. But their jiu-jitsu classes are huge. I'd say 50, 60 people in them easily.
That's good.
So it's packed, man, packed. And they offer an all-women's class, plus obviously the youth class programs are huge.
That's the only two you have to worry about. Men are dumb. We do stupid things in gyms. But women and kids, that's your way to actually make a living.
Yep. So he's doing it, man. He's doing this thing. What else you got for us?
All right.
Super chat. I saw one come through. Give me one more.
Yeah. Alejandro, Big John, can you explain? Oh, by the way, Alejandro, you can't ask 3 questions in one chat. You're going to throw my whole show off. But I'll give it to you this time. Just keep that in mind.
It's all right, Alejandro.
Big John, can you explain the new MMA rule and changes and what is considered illegal for a down opponent? Do that one first.
Yeah. Well, coming up for the UFC Fight Night where you've got Brandon Moreno taking on Amir Albazi, it will be the beginning of the new rules as far as what is a grounded fighter, and that the old elbow strike of straight up and down, any elbow you throw to a legal area is a good elbow. There is nothing that you cannot throw now. But the grounded fighter, to make it as easy as I can for you, it used to be that we would say put one hand down, it's bearing weight, you're a grounded fighter. So you're on your feet with one hand down, protecting yourself with one hand. That is no longer going to make you a grounded fighter. If you want to be a grounded fighter now, it's very much the same concept of the NFL running back, someone with the ball, the quarterback with the ball. Any part of your body that hits the ground other than your feet and hands makes you down. You're down there, or it makes you in MMA a grounded fighter. So if your knee touches the ground, your shin touches the ground, your elbow, your forearm, your back, your butt, you are a grounded fighter. But if you are on your feet and you put a hand to the ground, you can be kneed to the head. You can be kicked to the head. So it's going to open things up. Guys are not going to be able to hide in the same positions. And hopefully it's going to make the fights more exciting.
All right, next one. Can Bo stop Khamzat?
Not right now.
This is the thing I want to say. Everyone looks at that and they go, well, Bo Nickel can wrestle and Khamzat can wrestle. Right now, Bo Nickel doesn't have the experience that Khamzat has acquired through time of being in MMA longer. So right now, Khamzat has an advantage, in my opinion, because this is not a wrestling match. It's a fight. And when you're throwing punches at it right now, I would tell you, in my opinion, Khamzat has much better stand-up at this moment than Bo Nickel. Now, if you're going to put them in a wrestling match together, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take Bo Nickel in a wrestling match. Okay? But it's not like he's going to smoke him. Khamzat can wrestle. Khamzat is good. And in this position that they're in right now, I would think the UFC would be making a mistake to take Bo Nickel and put him against Khamzat Chimaev in the octagon. They need to do exactly what they've been doing with Bo Nickel, continue to give him the right opponents at the right time. He's got a fight here in November in New York, and give him about 3 more before you think about putting him against Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, he might need more than 3 more. And the other thing too is
that would be 4 fights, dude.
Yeah, but he's still on that Dana White Contender Series contract. He's got
that would get him. That would get him out of it.
What I'm saying though, even if at the 4 fights, I mean, he still wouldn't be fighting levels that would get him up to that. He's got to build his way up. So even if 3 fights, he's not fighting somebody in the top 6, top 10. I think by them in those 4 fights. Why would you want it?
He'd be right at the tail of that. He'd be fighting someone top 10, right at top 10, 11, 10, 12. Come on, have to be.
Oh, I don't see it, John. The reason being is why would I want to fight guys in the top 10 when I'm making Dana White Contender Series money?
Well, let's be honest.
It's a weak division.
Dana also does, certain things with certain people. You don't know what he's.
This is true. This is true.
So I'm not going to say that he's totally on that contract.
I was going to say I did hear that his contract is a little different. I don't know how much different, but regardless. Yeah,
Bull cannot stop Khamzat, Alejandro. I hope that answered your question.
What was that?
I said, so Bull cannot stop Khamzat, Alejandro.
Not right at this time.
Yes.
Oh, Alejandro.
All right, last one there. Thoughts on Ilia versus Paddy?
Ilia versus Paddy?
I like Paddy. Paddy is a much better fighter than people give him credit for.
He's gotten better his last 2 fights, though, John.
He has, and he's going to continue to get better. Just the same as Ilia is going to continue to get better. But right now, I don't believe that. I'm going to tell you that Ilia is the better fighter.
Yeah.
Okay. Not that Paddy's not a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but Ilia is the better fighter right now. And if they fought at this moment, I would definitely take Ilia Topuria to beat him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I go, okay, well, let's hear your side then.
No. Absolutely. Right.
This is why people are all getting on my DMs and stuff saying, what is wrong with this man?
We know you don't read DMs. Stop lying. Stop lying.
I don't. Someone does.
Yeah. Right now, the fight doesn't even make sense. I mean, Paddy's got a long ways to go. I mean, what is Paddy in the top? What is he ranked like number 15? Number
right there, yeah.
Number 11 or 12, somewhere in there. Yeah. I don't see that fight happening for a long time. And I think by then, Ilia Topuria, if he beats Diego Lopez and Evolov, and if Sterling's able to get up there, which I think he will be,
Paddy's at 14.
14. Yeah. I think by then Topuria is going to be like, look, I need the bigger money fight. I can cash out big time. I'll go ahead and take that against Islam or whoever's there at 155. Who knows? Usman or Magomedov might be coming over about that time, and you may end up seeing those 2 guys fight. That makes for a fun fight too. Makes for a fun fight as well.
That makes for a great fight.
So who knows? What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, I think it's time to move on right now. And then Alex, I'll come back to you in a little bit, Alex. I see you over there. Okay, next story here that I wanted to get your thoughts on. We're just gonna do some comment bashing tonight. Okay, first Volk's comments on Topuria, Islam. Now Daniel Cormier, Josh's best friend. So Daniel makes some comments about Khamzat's performance this past weekend, and then says he leapfrogs Sean Strickland, which I think is disgraceful rhetoric. So I'm going to read off.
Disgraceful.
Yeah,
Dave.
I'm going to read it off to you, and then let you guys respond accordingly.
Okay.
So DC says Khamzat Chimaev earned himself a title shot, or at least he should have. He submitted Robert Whittaker in the first round. Exclamation mark. Went across the octagon, double-legged him, took him down, choked him, and broke his jaw. He did
not break his jaw.
With a squeeze from a rear naked choke.
He did not break his jaw.
It was nuts to see him do that to a guy that was the generation before him, one of those guys. Whittaker for a long time has been one of those guys. When he wasn't a champion, he was ranked number 1, number 2. Chimaev is ranked number 12 right now. He went in and beat him in the first round. And if you're Strickland, that result worries you. Why? Because McMahon is sitting next to me and he jumps up and runs to Dana and they start talking with Hunter. Dana immediately runs over to Chimaev to talk to him. That's scary to a guy that's considered the number 1 contender because he tells you things are happening. Khamzat, to me, solidified himself as the number 1 contender at 185. His wrestling, his top control, his mentality, his approach. It's not like many things we have seen. All right, let's get your thoughts.
Okay, here, I'll give you my thoughts. My thoughts are Daniel Cormier works for the UFC. he also is, told sometimes, hey, I want you to push certain, ideas out here. And that's just part of what his job is. I'm not blaming him for it. I'm not saying that, hey, oh, Daniel, you're doing something dirty. His job is to put out ideas, put out suggestions, and let people understand exactly, hey, these are things that are going to be happening. And I'm going to say that it should happen first because I've been told that this is something that we want to push. Chimaev had a phenomenal performance. Anytime you have that type of performance and you are undefeated and you do it against a person that is absolutely of the caliber of a Robert Whittaker, yeah, you're gonna get people talking and saying you deserve things. If you're Sean Strickland, can you worry about it? No, you don't worry about it. Things are going to be the way they're going to be. The UFC is going to do things the way that they want to do them. They're going to give title fights to the people they want to give title fights. They don't give a shit what number is by your name. They give a shit what fight they want to see and they think people want to see.
Yeah, UFC is going to do what UFC does.
There you go.
That's it. Like nothing that you and I are going to say, nothing that any media is going to say, nothing that anyone in that promotion is going to say except for Dana White on what fight he wants.
Yeah.
You could have Mick and Hunter and those guys come in and say something. He'll shut it down quickly. Have you not seen some of the stuff with him and Hunter or him and Mick? They sit down and they're like, yeah, I was thinking this, I was thinking that. And Dana sits there and goes, I don't hate the idea. You know what? And then he gets up. He's like, he makes a phone call. Let's go ahead and give him a call. Gets a call. You know what? Good. Lock it down. Done. Like he's the one that has the final say. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So I would have to lean towards the fact that they probably will maybe skip Sean. Do you want to know why? Because we've already seen the DDP and Sean Strickland fight, and it wasn't a great fight.
Wasn't great.
Yeah. So why would I want to see that again? Let's throw in somebody new, get the mix up. There's a following there. Now, here's the other thing, though. DDP being from South Africa. South Africa. You got
to say the right South Africa.
You're really going to say, though, is that you have to ask yourself, am I going to be able to get him to go to the Middle East to fight? That's one. He's as a champion, he's going to be like, why would I? That's one. That's two, actually. Okay. And then the last thing is, if you're the UFC, Khamzat's having visa issues. That's why he can only fight over there. So what do we do now if we have a champion that can only fight over there? Now, maybe that helps with their relationship with, the Saudis and the money. Yeah. And all the money over there.
UAE.
Maybe that helps. Yes. Maybe that helps. But I really feel like you really back yourself into a corner when you have a champion that really can't leave outside of that area. It becomes a problem.
Dan, this is the same problem you have with not based on the same circumstances, but the same thing with Shara, Magomedov.
He can fight in the States though, John. He should be able to get approved.
Yeah, where?
I don't know, but didn't
don't know. That's the problem.
Wait, John, haven't you said that the one-eyed guy from Tennessee fought here in the States?
Yeah, in Tennessee.
Okay, but I don't think that's the real issue. Is like where he can fight or not.
Fight in Tennessee then.
So hold it. So the UFC is going to have someone that they can fight in Tennessee, right? That's the only place they can fight him. Are you kidding
Colorado? Me? Colorado allows head stomps. Don't they allow head kicks and shit? Like they can allow that.
Focused on the wrong thing.
You are focused on the wrong thing.
But you're talking about where they can fight. I mean, who cares? Like, if the UFC wants to make the fight, they'll make the fight. Okay.
Yeah, they'll make the fight. No, but I'm saying like the reality is they're going to make the fight.
Does he skip Sean, who, like Volk, has been the guy when they call him up? He's been there and they're saying Volk gets the next shot because he's been the guy. So do they skip Sean, who's been the guy? Like, is that fair?
Yeah, but hold on. You cannot compare Alexander Volkanovski and Sean Strickland as far as this. Yeah. They were both champions, but one was a long-standing champion, while one won the title and then lost it. He wasn't able to defend it. Okay, so there is a difference there.
Who do you think brings more eyes to the UFC though? Not to the sport, but to the UFC. Because I mean, at that point, right? If you get two guys, no, Sean or Volk, because you get two guys that are when you pick up the phone, they say yes.
You can't sit there and compare Sean Strickland and Volkanovski as far as they're in two different weight classes. So when you sit there and say, well, who do people want to see? It doesn't matter as far as There's two different
I
weight classes
honestly
there.
would say Volkanovski. Volkanovski got a whole country behind him.
Yeah, I would look and say, look, Volkanovski's done a whole lot of things. Sean is a guy who is out there. He says whatever he wants to say. Yeah. He pisses people off. He makes people laugh. He does all these different things. And he just is, he's Sean. And it's great.
People love him. People hate him.
Exactly. And I love, that he is up where he's at and fighting well. But if I'm with the UFC and I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to take Khamzat Chimaev to South Africa and do a fight in South Africa. It would be huge with DDP there. Do a championship fight in South Africa. It'd be your first time, having a show in Africa. And it would be freaking phenomenal.
Can Chimaev go to Africa?
Why not?
I don't know, John. He's having visa problems.
Visa problems in the U.S.
Okay, but you never know.
Different.
Maybe it translates to Africa too. Who knows?
Does Africa have a problem with Russia?
Maybe. I'm not going to pretend like I know if they do or not.
Does Africa have a problem with the Chechnya? No, it's different.
We don't know that.
This is bullshit politics that you get because a fighter gets caught up in it, and he hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
So Josh, you want to clear the air? Does Khamzat?
I don't want to clear the fucking air. What air to clear? I was right. That's all that matters.
Oh, now he was right.
Khamzat next for the title. Do you agree with it? Whether you think they'll do it or not?
No, I think they probably will skip Sean because, like I said,
do you agree with it?
I think what people need to remember is I don't give a shit.
Do you agree with it?
I don't give it. I don't give
a damn if you give a shit.
I want to see.
Do you agree that it should be Khamzat?
I enjoy watching DDP fight. So whoever he fights, whether it's Sean or Khamzat, I'll take it.
See, this is this right here. This is what's wrong with you.
No,
it seems like you had a heavy opinion.
To make a stand.
Yes, it seems like you had a heavy opinion about Khamzat in the last show.
Look, I'm looking forward to seeing him go 5 rounds. That's what's going to happen.
You're looking to see him. You don't think you can take DDP out in 1 round?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Oh, what do you mean you don't know? You know that he can. I'm not saying he will.
John over here trying to stir the pot. That's why he's trying to talk shit right now. Look at him. You can just tell the look on his face. He's hoping. Look, what I said about Chimaev is simple. The sample size to me wasn't big enough. And the fact that I actually even went back and we were like, oh, he broke his jaw. Okay, that's great. But he didn't break his jaw. What it was, and even Whitaker said, it's happened to me before. It's happened a couple of times.
He pushed back his teeth.
Yeah, he pushed back his teeth. It happens to me. And when it happens, it hurts like hell and you can potentially lose your teeth. That's what happened. So I don't want to take anything away from Chimaev. Look, I bet money on him, so I expected him to win in the first round. That's why I picked him by submission or KO in the first round. Okay, but I also said if the fight went longer than 2.5, 3 rounds, I picked Whitaker to win by decision. So look, I'm playing the odds and I'm playing the game. I'm simply saying, like, I look at the guys that Chimaev has fought. The guys that he has beaten have been at 170. Even though he's an 85-pounder. How can he get a title shot at 185? No one's questioning his abilities. Nobody. And look, and it's been a long-standing fact that he has conditioning problems since he's had COVID. So there should be no argument. That has been the thing. Yeah, there should be no argument over what I'm saying. And
but
people
Josh,
are on there.
Usman, while he apparently had COVID issues, he beats Usman.
Usman is a 170-pounder. He was at 85.
But let's not talk about 170. Let's talk about champions. Robert Whitaker was a champion. He beat a former champion.
Yeah, he did. Okay? He did.
Kamaru Usman was a champion. Not only was a champion, he was a pound-for-pound #1 for a long time, and he beat that guy. So he is beating the people that he is being put against that are not just easy fights.
Did he win or lose the 3rd round of the Usman fight? Because I have tons of people I cannot wait. I have receipts on these people in our comments basically saying that he won that he dominated that round. Chimaev did. I was like, what fucking fight were you guys watching? No. He didn't dominate that round. Yeah, he lost that round. And that was my concern with the Whitaker fight. That fight would have went longer than the round, which I didn't. I wasn't sure if it was gonna. That's why I bet both ways. But it just comes down to we're gonna see what happens as the fight goes on. And I thought he had a great fight against Gilbert Burns. He got tired in that fight. Thought he had a great fight with Usman. He got tired in that fight. That's the concern. No one's questioning his wrestling ability, his striking, the way he changes grappling together with his wrestling. No one's questioning his talent level. I think we're all questioning.
It's not only his wrestling, his grappling. You watch him flow from one position as people are, they're turning, they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And he is just absolutely handling it beautifully, countering it beautifully, and coming out exactly where he wants to be. His grappling is absolutely stellar.
If you guys have any doubts about his grappling, and I don't want to put too much into it because it looked like Luke had been training a little bit and Chimaev was dry. So how fresh were one another? And but look, the bottom line is, you never know. And we're talking about practice, like Allen Iverson said, like we're talking about practice. But regardless, Chimaev looked good. He looked good in transitions. He looked good on going X guard, coming out the back, coming to the legs. He looked good in all those positions. Luke is no easy task on the ground, grappling wise. So I looked at that. I was like, damn, he can grapple, man. And the way he flows it. If you've seen him wrestle, he gets the takedown, goes to the front headlock, hits the darts, hits the anaconda. He's always working for the neck, the choke. He's always trying to advance the position. If he's not doing that, he's doing damage. So not my concern. My thoughts on him have always been, and it's been widely talked about amongst all media sources and everything, we want to see him get past the second round, third round, and look good. Since he's had COVID, we haven't seen that yet. And I didn't want to put too much stock in the fact that he beat Gilbert Burns. That was at 170. He made that weight. I didn't want to put too much stock in him beating Usman because Usman is a 70-pounder, not an 85-pounder. And 15 pounds is a lot of weight. I don't give a shit who you are, if you're a former champion or not. It's a lot of weight. And to come up off the couch in 5 days and fight him, that's another thing. One guy's been training for the fight the whole time. The other guy got up off the couch and wasn't training for the fight. And he's a 70-pounder, not an 85-pounder. So those were my two takes on that. And anyone who wants to complain about that, tough.
But he still held his own. Usman still held his own pretty much. I mean, it's not like Khamzat.
That's what my point was, Dave. That's what my point was. They're saying, I'm like, the guy's a 70-pounder going against an 85-pounder who was ready for the fight and still got tired in the third round. The only thing is, like, it had the fight with Whitaker or anybody else gone, I think, until the third round. Would we have seen a different fight? We won't know. And I'm not complaining about him. Oh, he's finishing guys. Hell no. That's what you want in that division.
It's two former champs. It's two former champs.
Go ahead, Dave. Dave.
One former champ comes in off the couch, not training for the fight, and barely lose. I mean, not barely, right? But like survives well in a fight, puts on a good enough performance, but still loses the fight. One former champion comes in, trained for the fight, and gets absolutely smashed in the first round. Yeah. So and the only thing there is a weight difference. I mean, I don't know if that 15 pounds is a lot of weight, but Usman took the fight and but then also still held his own. So I just think that when you look at that and you're saying he beat Whitaker and then he beat Usman, he beat Gilbert Burns, who was number one for somewhere in that mix. He was number one for a while. It's hard to really deny.
He is beating the top people there are in those weight
classes. Beating them, John. But like, I'm not taking away from his skill level. I'm not. That's. I think people were misunderstanding that. I'm not taking away from anything. I want to know, because I'm going to keep all the receipts of everyone in the comments.
So the real question is this: do you think that he should jump the line and get the next shot against DDP instead of Sean Strickland? No.
If he does, no.
Do you believe?
I don't need to answer it, John.
He should.
I don't need to answer it, John.
Don't take the coward's way out.
No, I don't take.
You're taking the coward's way out.
No, cowards make jokes and then they say that they didn't do it. They say it was just a joke. That's what cowards do. Bottom line is he's talented. If he jumps it, I could see why the UFC would do it. They've seen the Sean Strickland and DDP fight. I've already seen it, and it wasn't a great fight, John.
I look at this, but I can't say whether the UFC is going to do it or not. But if they do, it makes sense.
The reason why it makes sense, though, for the other thing is that Sean and Khamzat have trained together.
Yes.
And so if he does beat DDP, Sean and Khamzat would be a good fight to put together as well. I don't need to see the rematch with DDP and Sean as much as I would rather have two former trainer partners fight for a title. And then also to take Sean Strickland to the Middle East would just be hilarious.
Sean Strickland might not make it back.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll make it. It's a very safe place over there, dude.
I didn't say it's not safe. Yeah. Sean's not safe.
I mean, his
This is
viewpoints
true.
kind of align.
Oh, that's funny. All right, what else we got there, Dave?
All right, let's hit these super chats before they disappear
Yep.
from my screen here. So Alex H looks like he's shouting this. Why is nobody talking about Evloev? He's undefeated. Josh did, by the way. So
We've talked about him. What are you talking about?
I gave him a mention like 3 or 4
I
times. You
said that
came late.
Topuria should fight him before he goes up in weight.
Who said that? Is Alex H? Alex H. Why is nobody talking about Evloev? He's undefeated. We talked about him 3 times. Guess what? You were late to the party. 9:30 Eastern time is the chat is when it starts. Okay, 9:30. It's called Tuesday Night Live. Tuesday Night Live, like Saturday Night Live, but Tuesday Night Live is what we're doing here, buddy. All right. But hey, Alex, I want to thank you so much, brother. Why is nobody talking about it? We did. I think he would probably be after Diego Lopez. Great fight. And I'd love to see that fight with him and Topuria.
From Alejandro, since podcast Dave is salty, I'll send some extra super chats. Thoughts on Khamzat's corner man being
This is why podcast Dave is salty.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking his element.
I do. Look at this. Let me show
There
you
you
guys.
go, baby.
There you go.
Element. I love this thing. I threw it at some kids in a truck one night because they were speeding on my street when I
you live in a cul-de-sac. How do you speed in your cul-de-sac?
Oh, dude, I don't want to get into
In
it.
circles.
I'm gonna cause
That's why your element Yeti has a bunch
big
of
scratch.
dents in it.
See the big scratch.
Big scratches.
Oh man. Thoughts on Khamzat's cornermen being the sons of a dictator, and then in parenthesis he puts UFC in a pickle, which I disagree with. And since you're directing it at me, I'll give the first answer. I disagree.
Why do you disagree?
I mean, it doesn't put UFC in a pickle. It's his corner, right? You can pick whoever you want.
No, it does put him in a pickle.
How does it put UFC in a pickle?
Because the UFC is in a position where they have a guy in Khamzat Chimaev who then is now picking people that are the sons of someone that the United States will not let in his corner.
It doesn't put UFC in a pickle though, because the UFC can, when they book him in the US, they just
when you have a guy that ends up becoming your champion, and now you have this. Now he starts to dictate. Well, then I can't fight, not because of a visa. I can't fight because they won't let my corners come in.
Dana White's never shied away from stripping a title, and
yeah, but I don't think those guys will be coming to the States. Period.
I don't think they will either.
Yeah, they won't be cornering regardless. I think the reason why they were able to corner because
I don't think that they would. I don't think their father would want them to come to the United States.
Yeah. The other thing as well, it has nothing to do with the UFC being put in a pickle. I guess the best way to say this is, I want to. How many people listening to the show right now really believe that Khamzat has a choice?
Bingo. That's my whole thing right there.
Look, for everyone saying that I got something against Khamzat, I understand. I can see the pickle that he's in.
Hello. That's the whole thing. Right now, if and I'm not saying it's true, but you're all sitting there saying that Khamzat is sidling up to somebody. Maybe it's the reverse. That person is sidling up towards Khamzat, and he's in a position where he can't say no. Can't. Not in a position to say it. Too many things are in place where other people can be brought into the entire picture. It's not what people think. You just don't have this power just to say no all the time to anything. Just saying it.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
I do. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And it's one of those positions. I don't envy him at all in that position. So
look, I'll say that I've been over there. Okay. And I've been in the same room with the person they're talking about. And he's made it to where he's made MMA his national sport. He has arenas that are built just for MMA. But you go there, and I'll never forget when I walked to the arena and I go into the arena, and there's a guy standing there, and he's not just standing there with an AK-47. Okay, fine. He's got bandoliers on. You know what bandoliers are, going across, and he's got grenades on those bandoliers. I'm like, what the fuck are you gonna do with those?
Blow everyone up.
Yeah, just let's just toss them. Boom, 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 boom. But foreign countries can do what they want. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. But you as an individual think that you're going to stand up and say something? I want to watch.
Yeah.
I want to watch.
I don't, like I said, I don't envy Chimaev at all. He's put in a situation where,
Horrible.
Yep.
You
And
can't
he's still
win.
got the other thing too is, do you think he really one of those guys in his corner? They have no advice to give him. What are they gonna shout to him? Nevar, like Don Fry? Nevar.
No.
Nevar. They
Yeah,
got
look.
no advice.
They have advice because look, they've been trading MMA for quite a while and stuff. But I'm not saying there couldn't be somebody better in that position.
Yeah, can I have Eric Nixon? Can I have like somebody that can know Javier Mendez? Can I get somebody that can coach me? Can I?
Just one.
You want me to keep winning, but you have your two sons here or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't make any sense. No. All right. Well, anyways, what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, let's hop on to this last thing here. The report from the UFC's pay-per-view with Francis Ngannou super fight is reported to be 10,000 buys on ESPN Plus, and then they had the zone as well, but that was the domestic number.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about what is this? What kind of light does this paint for the state of the PFL right now? And what do you guys think?
Look,
let's be honest. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
If I was an investor, when Don Davis said that he doesn't have time to watch fights, like what am I investing? If the president of the company, the CEO or whatever, doesn't have time to know who these guys are because he doesn't have time to watch fights, what if you're not a fan of the sport? What am I doing?
What do you mean? You're not. He said he didn't have time to watch fights.
Yeah, he said I don't have time.
He was there.
Don't have time to watch these guys fight.
He was there.
So John, there's that comment, and then there's you spent more than they did on Noche, and here we just did 10,000 pay-per-view buys.
Well, look at the 20. I heard it was 20 is what I've heard is close to the real number. I don't know if that's true or not, but the PFL's in that pickle as far as you want to say pickle. They have investors, and they told them they were going to have pay-per-views. You got to have these pay-per-views. They're not ready to have these big number pay-per-views, but they're putting out a ton of money on it. The Ngannou versus Fahea fight in fighter purses, that's $10 million. That's an expensive fight. That's a lot of money, Josh. Yep. You know it and I know it. So, you can't keep on having it. If this is what's happening, with their pay-per-view, they need to go back to their investors and say, hey, we want to step away from that for a little while or do something like the UFC's got the pay-per-view market locked up. I said this when we're talking about it. When people are looking about buying a pay-per-view, how many people out there can buy more than one a month? I don't like buying the one a month.
No.
But I do. And the UFC people believe in. It's going to be very difficult for you to put on any kind of pay-per-view, and I don't care who it's been. And you talked about Bellator did 140,000. I think it was 190 originally. It was estimated at, but then I think when they redid everything and the ones that they actually comped or gave away through whatever it was, CBS or whoever it was at the time, I think it was ended up being like around 140 something. Okay,
that was really good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
but again, take a look at the number, and the pay-per-view market is going down every year anyway.
Yeah,
it's just not you're going to have to look towards other functions and other fashions of getting your product out there. That's what I believe the PFL needs to be looking at. Don't look towards pay-per-view.
Well, not only that, and they're having their biggest events in the Middle East. If you want to build a fan base, you need to have those fights here. And
but that way. But you know why they're having them in the Middle East.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that. But if you're an investor from the Middle East, you got to, okay, what do I got to do to build these guys up so we can start making money from pay-per-views? I can't keep having the fights here. And their next 3 events are supposed to be there in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and in Riyadh again. So the finals is in Riyadh. And then the one after that, if they do it, will be the champs versus champs or whatever it is in end of January, February in Riyadh again. So your next 3 events, if you want to watch a PFL or you want to watch a Bellator or whatever it is, they'll be over there. So it's just going to be hard. If it's hard to build stars when not many people are going to go out there to watch them. And I don't mind the venue. I enjoyed actually, and being over there in Riyadh, I actually enjoyed it. Food was great. People were nice, felt safe. It was awesome. I mean, there's a little dusty, the wind whips up and the sand comes in but outside of that, I mean, people were extremely nice.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
Can I just throw out just on you go, finish.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say, can I just throw out an idea as like an everyday MMA fan who like has no, idea what goes on behind the scenes?
We know.
Right.
Go ahead.
So what's like these other promotions, right? You get UFC or Dana White out here with the Power Slap League, right? It's free. It's on Rumble and it's all over Instagram. He posts it all over Instagram and he posts it via the UFC as well, right? And he was out reporting on numbers compared to PFL and how it blew them out of the water, blah, 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 right? But I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, it's like that thing is free because he's building it right now. And so to get it in front of people is his number one priority.
Smart.
It seems like, right? And so when I think about like PFL and maybe like Bellator could learn something here is that, doing these deals with some of these like apps, as opposed to just putting this product out like on X right now, where you're getting a lot of eyes on YouTube, we get a lot of eyes, and just putting it in places where people can watch it and see it for free and get interest that way, because you're really just it's about the fights, right? Like you're at the end of the day, people are going to watch based on the quality of the fights, and you guys can advocate for how good some of the fights are in the PFL, and so when I'm looking at that, I'm like, aren't you guys better rather than trying to sell a pay-per-view that bombs and then no one saw it? Now that nobody saw it, because
here's the thing though, Dave, I agree with you 100%. But what it is though, is it's not so much that people are going to watch because of the fights. They're going to watch because it's accessible. And right now it's not accessible at all. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is that even when if you did have a show over there that wasn't pay-per-view, the time would be different. So it's got to be accessible for you on every platform, John. I got to be able to watch it wherever I can.
Yeah, but one of the best things the PFL has done is they've been on ESPN. Look, that's a huge thing. No matter what anyone wants to say, one of the things that was horrible about Bellator was what? Where they put them, where Viacom decided to put them on Paramount. Yeah. And then, when it was Spike, that was great. Then they put them on Paramount. Then they put them on CBS Sports, which is great. Okay, at least it's a sports type thing.
I wish you would have stayed there.
Then they switched them to Showtime. And you look and you go, you killed.
Yeah, they did.
They killed things with where they put them. Now, and it's still, Bellator had no debt. But I do believe that the PFL with where they're at ESPN is a good thing. Dude, you go into the Wild Wings and you see the PFL up on the screens. At least people can see it because ESPN puts out sports. It's the best platform for them to be on. How is it not?
No, John, I'm not saying they're not the best platform, but you've got to make it more accessible than just ESPN for them. Like that's my point. You got to be on like Rumble. If I'm just these younger generation, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they're on Rumble. Find ways to do deals with them just to have your content put up there. Throw it up on YouTube. Every place that you can watch that's easier for these millennials to watch, Dave being one of them, you've got to do it. You've got to make it accessible for them. Not a lot of people are buying ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Whether it's $4.99 or $9.99, no one gives a shit. They're like these younger kids are like, I'm not paying for that. I'm just gonna stream it from somewhere else. I can watch it from Rumble. I can watch it from YouTube. I can watch it from Twitter. You have access to Twitter. You have access to all these platforms. Find a way to make it so annoying that you're like, okay, what is this PFL thing? Okay, I see that guy all the time. Is he any good? They've got to spam Twitter and Rumble and YouTube with their guys. Right now, they're not. Like, you're actually keeping them from us. You're telling me I got to pay $59 or $69, whatever it was that you had to pay for that pay-per-view. I won't know until I get the bill. But like you're telling me I got to pay for these and you're hiding them from the average fan that right now times are tough in this country. They really is. People are financially strapped. There's more debt right now across the country than they pretty much have ever had. So people are carrying everything out on their credit cards. That being said, no one's looking to try and buy an extra pay-per-view that they barely know the fighters and they can just hear about it shortly after. No one's doing that. So they're making it more difficult for themselves. I know they did a deal with the Middle East for the money, but they're gonna have to restructure how they're doing their plan. If Bellator does go away, how do they end up utilizing those fighters? I think they're going to try to make those guys super fights mixed in with some of their champions and some of their fighters and that'll be the main events for their cards. And then you'll have the tournament be basically like the undercard, and they'll have a main event big fight.
How does it make sense? You got to make your people that are in your tournament that's your.
No, you don't. We all know that's not world-class fighting. You have a couple guys that are there, but you got guys like Patchy Mix, Johnny Eblin, you got Francis. Those guys would walk through that tournament. And if there was a 185 or 135, so now you're going to have those. Guys
say they don't even have the weight classes for two.
No, but what I'm saying though, John, is that you can have Johnny Eblin fight another 85 pounder like a Derek Brunson as a super fight, as a super fight as their main event. Then you have your champion. Then you have your fighters fight on the undercard of that, the lightweight in the featherweight or whatever it is. Okay. And then you have one big fight at the top. Francis fights whoever at the heavyweight, Goldsloff or whatever, as the super fight. And then you've got your tournament fighters below that on the main card still. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm looking to see them. They're probably going to get rid of, I think, about half of their roster from Bellator.
They got rid of more than half of it.
Yeah, they got to get rid of another half. They can't afford to keep paying them. And I think they're done running 2 promotions. They're done with that.
Not easy to run 2 promotions.
No. So whoever told them that was a good idea sure lied to them. Next,
how many times have we seen this happen?
Yeah. Yes. All right, guys. Hey, go to WayneAndMerch.com. WayneAndMerch.com. I want to thank you guys for continuing to subscribe to us. And we got memberships available. $4.99 gets you guys part of our deals that we run. We're doing giveaways once a month, and John and I are coming up with something right now. I actually was supposed to come up with it today. Forgot to bring it up, but yeah, we're gonna do another giveaway here. Alejandro, he should be getting his gift that we did for last month's. So we got to do this month's coming up for November. I should have dropped it today. My bad. My apologies. Halloween got away from me. Also, too, obviously, I just cracked mine open right here. LMNT, my guys. Stay salty, my friends. Use the link down below in the descriptions. And every purchase you guys do with that link, they will send you a bonus package. So, and I also want to say, continue our partnership with OnlyFans. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. Join our memberships here, though, on YouTube. We appreciate it. We're going to be doing lives every Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern time. Lives every Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern time. Do not miss out. Yes, Dave, what do you got?
Let's get one more in from Alejandro here.
Alejandro.
Before we blow this popsicle stand. that's a Josh.
I want to just talk about the main event though for the UFC card because we didn't talk about.
Oh, yep. See, this is what happens when I do things in reverse. I totally miss the first thing on my agenda. All right, Alejandro, real quick. Thoughts on Jake Paul versus Tyson being on Netflix to see how good a sporting event does on Netflix?
I think it's brilliant. You got to hit other avenues that people haven't touched before. I think it's awesome. NFL is doing Amazon Prime, so skip that. Let's go to Netflix. Netflix, I believe, is going to be one of the top bidders for the UFC when they come due with their contract. I wouldn't be surprised if you see either a market share with them, with ESPN and Netflix, or if they just fully bounce and leave ESPN to Netflix. I don't think it'll go that far. I think they'll figure out something because they want to keep their sports on ESPN. I think ESPN wants to keep them there as well. They're really considering UFC as a real sport now. You got all their analysts, all their people talking about it. They, before they never talked about UFC. They actually despise talking about it.
Well, they also had a different CEO.
Yes, this is true. This is true. But now they're talking about it. So I'm looking forward to that. I believe they're going to see them on Netflix though. One way or another. They'll be on Netflix. And I don't know if people realize on Rumble, you can buy the UFC pay-per-views on Rumble and watch them from Rumble. That's how accessible the UFC is. So I think if the PFL wants to take a page out of their book, start looking at trying to put themselves on every platform they possibly could to try to be accessible for the average everyday Joe fan. What do you think? Let's go ahead, John.
No.
I was going to say let's talk the main event and the co-main real quick, and then we're going to wrap this whole thing up. The co-main's good, man. Rose Namajunas.
Hell yeah. Against Aaron Blanchfield, it's a great fight. First, you got Brandon Moreno taking on Amir Albazi. This is a fantastic flyweight matchup. This should have a lot of implications as far as who's going to get a title shot, who's not. I look at this and look, Brandon Moreno is just a tough son of a bitch. I love, I've been around Brandon, in a lot of different things. He is absolutely a wonderful human. He is funny. He doesn't take himself serious, but he does take fighting serious, and he's always trying to get better. Albazi's got great wrestling. Can he take him down? Yeah, he can take Moreno down. Can he keep him down? That might be the question. And how much damage can he do? And how many times can he take Moreno down without burning too much gas? This fight's going to solve a lot of questions. You can take a look, and a lot of people talk about Albazi when he fought Kai Kara France, and what happened in that fight, and was it the right call and everything. This is the fight I think we're going to see exactly where Albazi's at.
This is a tough task, John. It just really depends, I think, on where Brandon Moreno's mind is at. Kind of, it's like deflated, like he was champ. Now he's trying to get back. He was a champ again. Then he fell off again, lost. Like, he hasn't fallen off. He's still tough as nails. He's still really good all the way around. He can make any fight very interesting because he's good on the feet. He's got a great chin. He's got a gas tank for days. Yep. He can wrestle. He's got good grappling. I mean, he's good all the way around. He's a fun fighter to watch. Albazi is going to have to avoid the submissions. He's going to have to also try to get this fight to the ground multiple times.
You're going to have to watch the power, because Brandon Moreno as a flyweight can smack.
He's got some SWAT to him.
Yep.
He's got dogs, baby dogs
in those hands.
He's a very unorthodox fighter too. Like, he'll take a shot to give a shot. And as the fight goes on, how many punches can Albazi take and realize, man, this guy's still here?
Like, but you got to be honest. Albazi's stand up is definitely his weakness.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's his weakness in the fight. And can he? Look, if he can pull off, a Marab and just take him down and hold him down and do it, every round, he'll win. I don't think he can do that.
Yeah, I don't think he can do it with the gas tank that Moreno has.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. Brandon Moreno, at some points when he fought Figgy, he kind of settled in on the bottom. He gave away a round or two by just kind of hanging out on the bottom, not really. And that could potentially happen again.
Sure.
It's a mindset thing. There's times where I've gone into fights and I was like, no matter what happens, I'm getting my ass up. Then there's times I went in there and I was like, cool. I'm like, oh, I'm just resting. Realizing that time's just ticking away, giving minutes and rounds away. And I could see that potentially happening. So I'm leaning towards Moreno. Obviously, he's got too much experience at high level competition. He can stand, he can grapple. He's got a gas tank to push, Albazi into the 5th round and make him really work. So I'm going to go with Moreno on this fight. I think it's a good fight for him.
Yep. Rose Namajunas taking on Aaron Blanchfield. That is a definite. That's a style matchup that is different. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Rose Namajunas on the feet is just fantastic. She's got beautiful movement, fights with range. She's very consistent in her attacks and the way she controls that range and then makes someone pay when they try to get inside. Blanchfield has got to get inside. She's got to get into the clinch. She's got to get the fight to the ground. Can she do it against Rose? Well, it's been done in the past, but lately it's been very difficult to do. So this is a great matchup too. I'm looking forward to this one at 125.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight. Let me see, where are they ranked at? Let's see. Rose Namajunas is at number 5. Blanchfield's number 3.
Yep.
I don't know. Look, for me, whatever Rose shows up, if the good one shows up, I don't think Blanchfield gets out of the first, maybe into the second, but I think Rose can just put it on her. The stand-up where Blanchfield is, she's just not going to have any success against Rose. Now, if she just continues just to chase after the legs and keep trying to put the pressure, she could also walk into a big shot. Rose has got the power, man, which is it's crazy because we've seen her starch females.
Yep.
And that's kind of unheard of, from females that are this small. You've seen it from Amanda Nunes.
They hit each other 1,000 times and they just keep standing there and throwing back. So
absolutely.
But Rose is different.
Yeah, and outside, Rose will mix it up too with the hands mixed up with the kicks, as Whaley found out. Like she'll try to take your head off as well. So, and she does it so slick. So I'm going to lean towards Rose, just the higher level of competition that she's faced. But if this fight does get to the ground, does Rose start to just kind of fold a little bit and go, like I'm cool just chilling down here, like, you can see some other guys doing it.
It's also the game plan that her team comes in with, because this is basically a Carla Esparza type fight.
Yeah.
And the game plan for that last fight was not good, and the information she was receiving was not good for her to win the fight. So obviously they're going to have to change. I'm sure they have what they're going to be looking to do against Erin Blanchfield. But it's a great matchup because Erin Blanchfield on the ground, she's fantastic.
She cannot afford to have another Carla Esparza fight. Dana will flip his freaking lid. He will flip out. There's just no way he'll lose his shit. That will piss him off, extremely piss him off. So I think she's in a perfect position to end up, because I would love to see Alexa Grasso and Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight.
Great fight. Great fight. So a good fight to have there. But look, she got to get past Erin Blanchfield. Look, these fighters that are one-dimensional, very tough to fight those fights. Very tough. Huh? So, hey, Dave, why don't you pull up the Bet US odds, please? And we go through the main event. The main event is, I can't see them, buddy. They're too small.
Here you go. It's plus 145 for Amir Albazi. Brandon Moreno is a minus 175. The under at 4.5 is a plus 170. The over 4.5 is a minus 210. I don't think I'd take the under.
Yeah. I think someone's gonna get finished.
Yeah.
I'd go under on it as well. And I'm gonna take Brandon Moreno to win, probably by some sort of submission. You think knockout? Look, you don't have to pick submission. You can go finish. You can pick him to win by finish, and that'll work as well. Yep. So and if you pick him to win it in under 4.5, I think for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go the distance either. I think Albazi's gonna get tired.
Not bad.
Chasing the legs and submissions. No. Yeah. What about the co-main there, John?
Rose Namajunas, you got a minus 135 for Erin Blanchfield. Rose Namajunas is a plus 105. We have an over 4.5 of minus 270, and under is a plus 215.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go the distance. I think it's gonna end up going the distance.
I would think it would probably go the distance.
Yeah. That being said, though,
that's
it's a
minus,
5-round fight.
That's a minus 270. Yeah, it is.
It's a 5-round fight, co-main event, 5-round fight.
Yes, it is.
That's some implications right there. Somebody might be fighting for the title next.
Yes, it does. It sounds that way, which is good.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna still lean towards Rose Namajunas. Even though she's the dog, I'm going to take her because I believe that she can win this fight. So anytime you feel like they're close enough to win it, and look, it's kind of a toss-up fight. What, plus 105? Is it one?
Yeah.
It's plus 105
for Rose and a minus 135 for Erin. So it's very close to being a
pick-em. Very close. Almost a pick 'em fight. So, but I'm going to take Rose with the higher level of competition that she's faced. So she's been there, done that. In a 5-round fight, Rose does tend to slow down, though, in rounds 4 and 5 a tiny bit.
Yeah,
but does. If Blanchfield can't get the takedown, she may be the one slowing down, because it gets frustrating when you're chasing takedowns. You can't get them.
True.
So, all right, guys. Hey, that's our picks for the Bet US. And I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. Go to WayneMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel. Dave just sent me the graphics for the old shirts that we had, so I can get those put up. And we're going to work on some new stuff. Dave's giving a little smirk right there. Let me see that face, Dave. Let me see it. Come on, put you on screen. Let me see that little baby face. Look at that. Look at that bad
10-second deal. Are you watching on YouTube?
All right, hey guys. Oh yeah, I am watching on YouTube.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes, of course I am. Well, I gotta see all the chats. I like to see these guys. Yeah, you know me. Thug Rose, Alejandro knows. Thug Rose. All right, guys. Hey, Drink Element. I want to thank you guys. Use the link down below in our descriptions. They will send you a bonus package with every purchase. And go to Bet US. YouTube 150. For Bet US, you got some fights to bet on this weekend, so let's enjoy the weekend. Plus, you got SEC games. Plus, you got the NFL. Damn, let's go. John,
plus, you got the World Series. Got everything. But
did you not see the video tonight?
Maybe just one more game. What's that?
Did you not see what happened tonight?
No.
The guy from the Yankees jumped up, caught the ball right over the fence. A fan and another fan of his grabbed the player's grabbed the player's wrist, kept him there, and then pulled the ball out of his glove. They're probably banned for life.
It's a home run.
Yeah, Yeah, they're probably. It was hilarious. Yeah,
Oh,
they pulled it out.
That's
It
not
was
hilarious.
so-
You remember that?
I
You
thought it
remember that kid from Chicago that screwed up the foul ball?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I was only a 5 at the time there, John.
Holy
but-
Christ, that dude was
Yeah.
absolutely
Got it,
just
John. Look at this.
killed.
Watch.
Let me see this.
Watch this. Oh, let me see.
It's going to be
It's
an
Ohio
ad real
State.
quick.
All
It's
right,
going to be an
all
ad real quick.
Okay, let's give me an ad real quick. Yeah, this is
It's
crazy.
Ohio State against
The
Penn
two
State.
of them-
Good ad.
The two of them are holding the player by the wrist so he can't get his arm back.
It's
and
New York.
They're stripping the ball. But John,
Oh,
this
it's
is
a
in,
foul
this isn't the
ball.
Dodgers. It's in LA. It's in LA. Oh, it's a foul ball.
Foul ball.
Oh man, they're kicking that guy out. Oh, come on, you got to show it close. Show the close up.
So, dude, I'm sorry. If they did that to their
Oh,
own team, I'm like, you're crazy. But that's
Yeah.
that's being part of the game.
Yeah.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah. There was one last thing I wanted to say. There was somebody out there that we had talked about a couple shows ago, and somebody had said, "Hey man, I was just making a joke." And I wanted just to say something. Only cowards make jokes. And they called it a joke right after. That was disgusting, talking about someone else's kids. And then for you to say it was a joke, you're just a coward. So I just wanted to clear it was just something that was talked about. But yeah, to say, oh, I was just joking. I was just joking. Yeah, that's what cowards do. So, all right. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up the show on that. I want to thank you guys so much for listening. And,
I'm
we
wrapping
will
up
see
the
you.
show on something different. I'm wrapping up the show on the two Yankee fans that went all in on helping their team get another game in the World Series. Congratulations to those two men for just putting it all on the line. For everyone out there, do me a favor. Treat people good. Do something kind for someone. If you can help someone in life, help them out, and we will see you.